Good morning and welcome to episode 4 of Drivin Dads. Today we're going to be looking at our usual bunch of things, and for Father's Day, we're going to be looking at our dad's history.
Yeah, we can't be driving dads and not talk about father's cars.
Yeah,
so
I want to talk about the new Porsche Mission X, which is
I haven't seen it all, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Which is, I think, awesome.
Yeah.
Something else that popped up a couple of days ago, the Mercedes Vision 111.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Interesting concept, but I'll tell you more about that. And then, we're going to look at our dad's cars. And,
And then I've got an interesting hot take on the electric car, petrol car debate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, might ruffle some feathers, but yeah. Look, so we're around Father's Day. Shall we start talking about dad's cars?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Do you want to start with yours or?
I don't know. Well, what I'll do, let's start with one of mine, and then we'll move on to one of yours. Okay. So I've mentioned before that my dad we had this really beat up Toyota. Now, I'm not going to show that. That's the old Toyota Corolla. That's fine. So this one here, my father always had a company car that was one of these, but a panel van.
Old Toyota Hiace.
Yeah, but it was a panel van. So this is the 80s now.
Yes, yeah.
And we used to go everywhere, but there were only seats in front. And they were in the back was, because he worked for a company that did tire products,
Yes,
so he actually stocked most of the places in Durban with tire machines.
Yeah.
So he had all these things and tire samples and he had that, and in the back was all this weird equipment and stuff. So we used to sit in the back as kids. Couldn't see out, obviously, because the panel van had no windows. Or we'd be scrunched up on the front seat with my mom. I remember it. We used to go to Joburg and those things and just go everywhere. And it was a couple of years we had one of those.
Yeah.
In varying forms. So they would get new vehicles. But it was always an old, and it was yellow. Ironically, I'm glad I found a nice picture of a yellow one. But that was it. So although, funny enough, looking at this one, it's got the new looking badge. So we had the word Toyota written on the front. But that was a fond memory of a very rubbish vehicle.
Okay. So for me,
let's go to yours.
Okay. So for my dad, a little bit before my time, but when the first vehicle he ever bought was an Alfa Sud.
So,
okay. It was it was dark silver, according to my mum. So it's a little bit before my time. As far as I know, he sold it just after I was born.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Alfa Sud, fabulous car, but Alfas those years rusted to hell. Yeah. Yeah. My mom said
actually, most cars, I think.
Yeah. My mom said it was a nightmare to try and keep in one piece.
That's a divine looking car.
It's a fabulous car. Actually reminds me, I remember one time we went to Cape Town and my dad hired a car. He hired the Alfa GTV.
Oh, yes.
This is back in the 80s.
I've got a fun story about a GTV.
Yeah.
I was 10, living in Boksburg, and nothing was going on. So that was 1992, right?
Yeah.
And so it was quite quiet. It's like Boksburg, if you go there now, it's the R21's Rietfontein Road, it was called.
Yeah.
There was a Shell garage across the road. So just about 2 k's up from the East Rand Mall. There's a little Inge Kerk there. And I'm describing this because I know someone's going to be there. There's little fish and shops there. Fish and chip shop there. That's quite nice now. My dad used to have a shop there. So we were bored out of our minds.
Yeah.
So my sister and I one day were sitting on the corner. And there's this little road. It was kind of at an angle. It was a nice road because if you came around the corner quick enough, you could take it. And we were 10, just sitting there. This old lady coming down. I can't remember what car she was driving, but a guy on a GTV. The young guys, obviously in the 1920s, came flying around the corner, went a bit wide, head on into this old lady. We were just sitting there and it wasn't bad. So they were kind of low speed. They just slowed down, but it was still bad enough to wreck the car. Guy gets out, all manner of swear words, and I was just sitting there going, God, I love that car. It's just been wrecked, and this is the most beautiful car I've ever seen in my life. I just love the shape, and I always wanted one.
A fabulous car. Wow.
And to know that the 3-litre V6 was only made in South Africa.
Is it?
Yeah. Wow. So it was. They got special permission from Alfa because they were doing the rallies, I believe, or something like that. And so they needed to make a homologation version, and we were the only ones. And it's world renowned. So in Britain, they know if they want the 3 litre V6, they have to come to South Africa to find one in it.
That's interesting.
So if you look at cars that Koza, they have a thing called Sentimental.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and they've just restored a red one.
Oh, okay, I'll definitely go check that out.
Divine. Right, so Alpha Sud.
Okay.
So, on performance cars, my dad didn't have many, actually any. The closest thing he ever came to was a Ford Cortina, which I think, so that picture there is the 2-door, we had obviously the 4-door.
Yeah.
And I think ours was white or light blue. We might have had one of both, like a white one and a light blue one, because they were just all over. Again, it's such an iconic car of the time. Everyone had one.
I mean, for South Africa, the Cortina was the car of the 80s. I mean, so, our friends whose parents had Cortinas and so on. I mean, you can get them everywhere.
Yeah. And that shape in particular was just, that's what I remember. I just remember.
And then you got the XR6, I think.
Yeah, so there was the XR6.
Yeah.
And the XR3 was the Escort that was there as well.
But that's a very much an iconic South African car.
It is weird, because I don't know why it's like so boxy, but I just adore it.
Yeah. Well, you talk about boxy. The car after the Alpha Sud that my dad had was the Audi 100.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is a fun one too.
Okay. So Audi 100. Okay. This is actually the top of the range one, I think SE or whatever it was. But yeah, that's very much the Audi my dad had. So it was blue. Okay. We can look at the styling. Same era.
Yeah. I remember my father saying he wanted one of these.
Yeah.
Because he loved them.
Okay. So my dad's one was blue metallic with blue vinyl inside. Okay.
Was your dad no, I'm not going to say that. Was your dad a porn star by any chance? Or perhaps a gangster?
I remember very well. Also rusted. I remember my parents had it fixed up and then repainted sort of cream. Okay.
They chose to repaint the car.
Yeah, don't ask me.
Okay.
Well,
there goes the theory of it.
this is one of the formative cars of my years because it had a armrest
in the back. Yeah,
I used to sit in the middle. But also, one of the things I remember is going out and then using that armrest as a pillow late at night and sleeping on it. Yeah. But yeah.
So I remember. So I had the 500, which was basically the forerunner to the A6, similar model. And that I remember, like the youngest kid going, "Oh, there's an armrest here," and the boys would then fight over the armrest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on, guys! And the car was huge inside.
Yes,
enormous. What engine was in this?
For life me, I actually cannot remember. I think it's range, but to be honest, I'm actually not sure what my dad's one had.
That was cool. Okay, well, it's funny how this segues into the next car that I'm going to talk about. So let me close these, make it easier. So this was, my dad had bought this VW Passat.
Yes.
It was like a bronze color.
Yes.
Which I actually prefer the bronze color to this red one. But it looks very much like this. Different wheels.
Fastback.
Yeah. Just like that. Nothing fast about the car at all. I think it was an 1800 inline 4 engine. So this was the first time my dad and I worked on a car together.
Yeah.
So going through a bit of a rough time, we needed a car. So he just scraped together, I think 3,000 Rand at the time, and bought this car. Needed a new clutch. So him and I did the clutch. So we did the timing belt. All in the backyard, under jacks and jack stands. And there we were working on the car. It was also rusted finished. I remember once one of the windows broke, the little side window. Someone had broken into someone tried to break into the car at night. And these big windows were quite flexible.
Yes.
And there was a point he threw a brick at the window to try and break the window. And the brick bounced off and hit him. There was blood on the car the next morning. He hit himself.
Wow.
But then he smashed the smaller window and stole the radio that was in there. Typical. So we replaced it with the Perspex. And then, because we were just making hacks. But it was... I remember once, like, vivid memories of it, like, breaking down. Like, I was in high school and, he was supposed to come fetch me. And I remember being so disappointed. Like, oh, my dad's late. Like, he's forgotten about me.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there, like, on the pavement and I see my dad walking down the road and I go, what the hell is going on? And, like, the car broke down. So he just left the car there and walked to fetch me. And you just go, those are the things that, like, bring you memories. And then somehow we got it home, and then we fixed it again. And so all those little things, that memories we have of it. So this is the first car we worked on. Not a great car, but a great car.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean,
it's so nostalgic. If I ever got my hands on one, I would fix it and never let it go, just because of that memory of my dad.
I mean, it's I mean, it's a
I still it's a very fond memory of working on. That was the first car I got elbows deep in.
Yeah, well, my dad was upwardly mobile, so his next car after the Audi was BMW.
So the E30?
E30 316, yes. Very much like this. Actually, I think it was a cream color. Okay.
Oh God, that's a gorgeous car.
It's a car that
even with steel wheels.
Yeah, it was a car that defines sports saloons. I mean,
and that particular one, that doesn't even have a kit on it, eh? So
that's very standard. So that was my dad's car. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. But interesting enough, a little while later, we got a second car to go along, the Sierra.
Yes, so I'm going to open that picture because this is very interesting. So you got the wagon.
Yes, we got this. Okay. My parents hated it.
Yeah.
They bought it. They said, they had it for, I think we had it for 2 years maybe.
Oh, really?
And they hated it.
Really?
But one of the great things about it was because of the station wagon, that huge boot. At the time, the drive-in was still going. Mm-hmm. And we would go to the drive-in and park facing backwards and sit in the back.
Sit in the boot.
Yeah.
These are iconic South African cars. Everyone knows a friend whose mom or dad had one of these.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, so the Sierra was essentially a replacement for the Cortina. So yeah.
I loved the Sierra. I saw one the other day. Not the other day, a couple of years back. And I walked into this dealership. We were looking at cars, and I looked at a particular car, and then there in the corner of my eye was an XR8. And I looked, and I was like, ooh. So I go there and I look at it, and that had the V8 from the Mustang Boss at the time. But I opened the bonnet, and the whole fender just bent. It was so badly rusted, the hinges weren't moving. It just collapsed the inside. And I said to the guy, like, how are you trying to sell this thing? It's like the body is scrap. I'm sure the engine might have been okay, but awful.
Unfortunately, that's the cars for the 80s for you. Yeah.
But even these, like, I know it's a horribly uncool looking car. Let's not pretend. Let's not pretend it's pretty. I mean, that's really ugly. But it was the family car. Phenomenal. Actually, again, this is moving nicely to the next one. Another one. It's a common family car in South Africa that people used to have. Is the Toyota Cressida.
Oh yes.
2-liter GLE my dad had. White. Stunning lacquer car. So comfortable. I saw one again recently in mint condition. I was putting tires on my car and I saw the guy and I said, do you mind if I check your car? He goes, no, that's fine, because he gets it all the time. Because everybody has some sort of memory with these things.
I mean, it's a weird mix. I mean, it's a very American. I'm just looking at it now. It's a very American styling, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny enough because I don't really remember the grille being like that. I'm sure this is a picture of a foreign car.
Yeah.
But the rest of it looks the same. The wheels are the same. The door handles are the same.
I think South Africa probably just had horizontal slats or something like that. Probably.
Yeah, it might have been slightly different. I remember the Toyota badge being the same, that little star, and the word Toyota on the side. But pretty much it. And then we didn't have these. Yeah. So we had a little aerial that would come up. But like, what a car!
Might be an American, but
the thing I remember about the car, weirdly, was the aircon was so cold. Like, that car just had the coldest aircon I've ever been in. We didn't have cars with aircon, so we had this car. And I remember going, this is cold in here, you know? Yeah. It was very weird. But I mean, again, beautiful, comfortable car. Reliable as hell. I mean, didn't have a problem with it. But it's such an iconic South African car.
E36. Okay.
So was this the car that you got from your dad when he passed away?
No. My grandfather, I got my car from my grandfather. It was the E30.
No, but when your dad passed away not too long ago.
Yes.
Didn't you?
No. He had another E30, not this one though. Okay. So he was one of the first in the country to get the new 3 Series, the E36 3 Series. very much a model like this.
Yeah.
316i, okay, with the grey bumpers and everything, grey interior, like very much like this one. You at the time you couldn't get personalised number plates, but he arranged to have his number plates. Was such that it ended in 316.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was close you could get to personalised in those days. Yeah. So this is my upwardly, like I said, upwardly mobile dad.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and E30, then E36, then we got another E36 a little bit later, the white one. Yeah.
That's such a cool story. Eh?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're proud of that history, you know.
Yeah.
When you look back, you go, yeah. Oh, that's a cool one. That's a nice setup.
Yeah.
So you talk about number plates. I think there's two more cars I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So I want to show you this one here. So this is a Mazda 66. Now,
Oh,
this wasn't my dad's car.
66.
My
Yes.
grandfather always had Mazdas.
Yes.
And him and my gran would always buy, not matching cars, but she would always have the 323,
Yeah.
and he would always have the 66.
Yeah.
And you know, as a kid, like I remember my earliest memory, I must have been about 2. We're living down the coast, and I remember my mom taking me out of my car, looking over, seeing my granddad's blue, he always had a blue one, a blue 66, and going, yeah, your grandpa's here. And that's, you know, you have those first memories, and I remember that. So this was a model he had like for quite a number of years, I remember it, but his number plate on that was 38626. Which was quite interesting that he had that number plate. And I always thought it was quite iconic. And one day he got a speeding fine. And he goes, well, that wasn't me. And he asked for the photo. And it turned out his number was ND3866.
Yeah.
And some guy had NPN3866. And
Yeah.
they sent my grandfather the fine instead of the other guy. But it was quite weird that they had organized the number plate that matched the car, which I found quite weird. But he always had a 626. And I mean, we went everywhere in that car. They would take us to flipping Sun City all over the place. It was just phenomenal. Last car my dad had that was, well, it wasn't his last car, but this was an interesting one.
Yeah.
A Fiat 1500.
Oh, good Lord.
So he had bought this car, and in fact, he just abandoned it.
Yeah.
So what had happened was he had lost his job, and he was living with a friend of his. And he had all the worldly possessions were in the back of the car. So him and my mom were staying with a friend of his. We were with my grandparents. And he had just got a job somewhere else, and he left the car there. The next day, the car was completely ransacked. They just destroyed everything. And he just said, stuff it. And he just left it. Which I wish he hadn't, because, I mean, it's an iconic car. But, you hear these stories, and the other thing that comes out of it is these apocryphal stories. My dad would be like, oh, it was the first car with flashing indicators. It actually wasn't. He said, oh, it's the first. It really wasn't. Like, it wasn't an iconic car. I mean, I know Fiat do break ground and they did a lot of technology things, but this was an awful car. But it was still a very iconic Fiat from the 60s. And I remember it going, wow, my dad's got an old car now. They're all,
They're all classic.
But that was the very old one that he had. And I just... it's sad that he abandoned it, but you wouldn't even know what happened to it now. But he had an old Fiat 1500. Fascinating little thing. I can't remember what color it was. I think it was green. Can't tell you.
Yeah, but I mean, that's where we came from. I mean, it's sort of defined our early childhood cars, and I mean.
Yeah, there's iconic cars. It's lekker to think back and look at them. And I know that, I mean, my kids are going to go, oh, I remember Dad having that and that.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've had a lot of cars. But but yeah, it's cool that they can look at it. And I think, I liked hearing about your dad's history. I think that's quite a nice, it's a nice story.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I think your dad too. I mean, each car marks an era, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, like when my dad got his this E36. Yeah. That was when he opened up his own store.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it was.
Oh, that's cool.
Each of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like life stages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Like, I mean, now I drive a flipping estate.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now you've got 2 kids and you go on holidays all the time, as opposed to a little hatchback because you're trying to be compact.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Okay, let's move on. So you wanted to talk about. Let's go to the Mission X.
Yes.
So tell me about this Mission X.
Okay. So, Porsche, as a 75th birthday present to itself, showed this. Okay, the Porsche Mission X. Okay. Now,
What do they call their top? Not target top, T-top.
oh yeah, well, it's actually
Those are gull-wing doors.
gull-wing doors.
Oh,
Yes, but there's a reason for that, which I'll come to in a moment. Okay, so officially there are no plans to put it in production, but they mention it in the same breath as the 959, the Carrera GT, the 918 Spider,
Oh, okay.
and now the Mission X. So there's very, very interesting history there. I mean, the Porsche hypercars.
Yeah.
Okay, but
It does actually very much look like from the front, like a Le Mans kind of.
yeah, well, yeah, it's precisely. Okay, so which I'll come to that. Now, this is an all-electric car.
Oh.
Okay, so yes, Porsche's done all-electric, the Taycan, but this basically what they're looking at performance figures of 1 horsepower per kilogram.
Yes.
Okay, so talking next generation batteries, etc., and also they're looking to beat Mercedes around the Nürburgring. Okay,
Oh.
Mercedes with the AMG 1.
Okay.
Okay, they're looking to beat that. Okay, now as you said, it looks very much like a Le Mans prototype.
Yeah.
Now this isn't the first time Porsche have done this. The last picture I'll show you. Okay, this here is the Porsche 919.
Okay.
Okay, this was essentially a road-going development of their 919.
Yeah.
But it never went into production. But you can see the starting influence.
Yeah.
Okay, on the Mission X.
I noticed something in one of the pictures at the back of the lot there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, Porsche's new sort of light bar.
Yeah.
So there's some development of it. But yeah, I
Very
think,
Le Mans, the little bubble. and-
yes. I mean the aero and so on. I mean, no big wings, which is nice.
Nothing that pops up.
There is active aero.
I mean, that's quite a diffuser at the back.
I think there's active aero under the body.
Porsche are not buggering around. Like,
Yeah, so if you've got a car that can beat Nürburgring, you are going to have
Yeah.
some serious aero under it. Okay, so I think this is very much a car to watch. We'll see when they announce official production.
Yeah.
It's at 99% likelihood it's going into production.
You think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Porsche needs a halo car at the moment.
Yeah. You know what I love about this kind of thing? Like, I mean, this is completely overkill. Like, no one really needs this kind of car.
No.
I don't care if they make 20 of them. But I think it's pushing the boundaries of engineering.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that there's manufacturers out there. And I mean, even the AMG one, although I believe it's awfully unreliable.
Yes.
But the fact that they're going, well, let's see if it can be done.
Yeah.
You know, and they have the resources to do it, and that's why you'll pay R1 million for a Porsche. It's because of stuff like this. And quite frankly, I want them to do stuff like this because I want them to go, okay, we're making a fully electric car that can chuck it around the Nürburgring faster than anything else.
Yeah.
Cool, you know, because then that technology will drip down into the cheaper cars, and not just the cheaper Porsches, into the VWs and the Audis and things like that as well.
But there is one thing I want to talk about. Not so much here, but
that interior is amazing. Now, sorry to interrupt.
The thing is quite nice. It's got a analog clock in the center there.
Oh,
Okay. I mean, look at it.
That's a stopwatch, though.
Yeah, it's a stopwatch for timing, but it's also hooked up to a digital display as well.
Yeah, so there's a lap timer you can see.
Yeah, but yeah, that's very much. Like,
I'm not a fan of the yoke, but I find it kind of interesting that the driver's seat is a different color. That's weird.
Basically, reference to all the Porsches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. God forbid. I think in production version, if you had a white steering wheel like that, it's going to get dirty very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but I just want to move on to another car that's just launched, well, show car.
Yeah.
Rephrase. Okay, the new Mercedes Vision
111.
111, or whatever it's called. Okay, here you can see it's with its sort of predecessor.
What is this one called again?
The C111.
Okay.
Okay. The original C111 was there were about 17 built. They're a mixture of engines. Started off with Wankel rotary engines.
Yeah.
Then the diesel, and then the last one had a V8. Okay. But this is the C111 2, which had the rotary engines. Okay. Now, the interesting thing here, this is just pure fantasy car.
Yeah.
But the tech under it is actually interesting. Okay. Now, the motors in here are a slightly different design to most electric cars at the moment. Okay. This here uses axial flow motors. Okay. With the way the magnetic fields are aligned and so on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't understand it. So we're going to have to research that now. Or I'm going to have to, because I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But
what it means is they are more compact. Okay. Compared to other electric motors, and they're much more powerful for a given size.
Yeah.
Okay. One reason why they're not used more is because they are a lot more difficult to build. Okay.
Yeah. Well, for now.
Yeah. Well, this is the entire thing. So this has got the new motors, which will probably promise to make sort of electric sports cars much more efficient and so on. So this is, ignore the looks, ignore the...
I don't like the looks, but I think it's
a tech under it that's an interesting part.
So that brings me to the thing I have a little bit of a hot take on.
Yeah.
So last time we spoke, I mentioned that one of the things I think people love about cars is the customizability of it.
Yes.
Okay. The fact that we can look at it and go, okay, I can make it better, I can put a new crank in, I can do all this stuff and make it more powerful. Right. On YouTube, there's a guy named Tavares, and he's bought a flooded McLaren P1 with 300 miles on it. Okay, so it's brand new, flooded, destroyed.
I remember the story about it.
Every car YouTuber is following this guy's thing. So it's a hell of an ambitious project. He got a quote from McLaren, for one of the McLaren dealers near him, and I think it was $750,000 to repair.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So he's finding ways around it. And what I love is that he's going, okay, this module's from the 650, so I can get it there, and this module's from that. So he's really getting into the bare bones of the car. Yeah. And I think, from a YouTube perspective, I think it's really great for us car enthusiasts to see, well, what's really going on inside these cars.
Yes.
Because he's now literally taking one apart.
Yes,
He's, the last episode I watched last night, he's literally, he's split it. So he got another YouTuber involved, Rich Reballs, who's done a lot of Tesla stuff, to help him pull out the battery, because that was very unsafe. So they did that, and now he started cleaning things out, and a whole bunch people are getting involved, and it's really awesome to see. But look, it should be no different from any other project. But this last episode, he goes off to the UK, and he met with a team of people who run a company that look after McLaren aftermarket.
Yes,
that used to work in McLaren. And what these guys have done is they were, I think, ex-engineers or ex-marketing guys at McLaren who decided, okay, well, look, we want to provide aftermarket supports to McLarens. It's a bit cheaper and a bit better. Now, again, we've spoken about aftermarket stuff that people look at something and go, I can do this better.
Yeah.
And this is happening now with modern-day hypercars.
Yes.
From the engineers. So apparently the guys who designed the battery left McLaren.
Yes.
And have now reformed another company to make a better battery. So these guys have designed a battery, and I think he gave the stats, that the P1 can go flat out with its original battery for 2.5 minutes.
Yes.
These guys have designed a lighter battery that can go flat out for 2 minutes 54 seconds.
Yeah.
And this is an aftermarket battery you can put in a $1 million car. And this is so, I just think looking at that and looking at the level of engineering these guys are going to, this is now we're starting to see the cycle again of people looking at cars and going, this massive great technology here that we can improve. And like you mentioned, Mercedes and using different magnetic fields, it's like that's insane that people are doing that. And for us to go, but it doesn't make a noise. Anyone, I hate to say it like this, but anyone with that opinion is a Neanderthal. They're not appreciating the engineering of a car. And they've hit the roadblock and going, oh, it makes a noise. Sure, it makes a noise. But the fact that someone's going, I can make a lighter battery that can perform better. Yeah. We're now at the point where I can replace the crank and make my Honda go up to 1,000 horsepower, except it's different material.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is, like you mentioned, with a internal combustion, it's easier because the tech is not more well understood.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it's a case of
look, we'll get there. And again, you've mentioned it before. It's going to be software as opposed to hardware. It's going to be different things. People are going to be changing magnets in electric motors now one of these days. They're going to be rewiring things. You're going to find guys doing the same thing but differently. So we're not we're not changing cranks. We're doing different things to make cars faster and better. And I think it's flipping exciting to be in that position now where we're having mass adoption of the technology. He's still good. We have mass adoption of technology, and then people are starting to change it, and you're finding people from the car manufacturers now going, we can still make this better. And I absolutely adore that. I adore where we are with that, and I think that was such an exciting thing to see. And I'll put a link in to Varsh's video. I think it is a hell of a project to follow. It's exciting to see. It's an ambitious project. Oh, look, he's done it before. He did a 675 LT, restored it from crashed, destroyed, and he did an amazing job on that car. It looked really, really good. But this one is just, it's ambitious, but I love seeing the way it's exploring, and it's just expanding our boundaries. Again, as car guys, you're thinking, okay, well, he's rebuilding a hypercar, but it's expanding our boundaries to, okay, suddenly we're looking at battery technology, and lighter battery technology and all this stuff. And I think it's phenomenal. Kudos to him for trying it, and I wish him all the best. Right, we've got any more cars? So the other thing you've got here, the finalists for
South African Car of the Year.
South African Car of the Year.
Okay, South African Car of the Year. Now, I know you have your issues with it, and I'm on the fence about it, but there are some points I want to make here. Okay, so they had a bunch of categories.
I see. So quite a few categories.
Okay, and which there was, according to them, the budget and compact, they couldn't find cars.
Well, huh?
Yeah, there were no contenders on the budget and compact.
No budget cars.
Okay, and for example,
did they not watch our podcast last week?
Okay, so and a sort of luxury, there was a single entry in the luxury class, which is the Merc S, which
okay. So why that is, and this is I think my problem with the Car of the Year, is that it's a media exercise. The companies have to put forward a car. Okay, so the guys aren't just walking around going to dealerships going, oh, the Toyota Aygo or whatever it was is my choice. The media have to put it forward. And there's all this expense and presentations and stuff that has to happen. And that's why Toyota, for example, that Vito, they're not going to put that forward. They're going to go, oh, no, bugger, we've got better things to spend our money on. Because we want to rather win the double cab Car of the Year. So we'll put our efforts into that. And it's not a true representation of what really is the best car, in my opinion. It's a media exercise. It's a great exercise. It's nice to see because people get to think. But I think it's a little bit skewed because it's not a full representation of what's available on the market. But let's see who won. For the whole of it.
So the overall Car of the Year was a Ford Ranger double cab.
Okay, look, I'm not going to disagree with that because I see them. And you know what? I love that Bronco front. And I mean, look, they're generally very nice vehicles.
It was interesting. This is the first time Bucky's won Car of the Year.
It's been the top selling vehicle. Okay, not the specific one, but the Ranger has been the top selling vehicle in South Africa, I believe, for quite a long time. Been with that and sometimes one other, like the Hilux or something else that takes it. But that's been the number one for a while.
So a bunch of others. Okay, adventure SUVs. Ford Everest.
I think this is a cheek to put the Bronco front on it because it's not, I suppose because I like the nostalgia of the Bronco, the fact that it's there, and I really think Ford have nailed that design to modernize the front of a historic car. Hats off to the designers. They've really nailed that. But now they're going to do what they did with the big Aston Martin grille. Remember when they took that from Aston Martin and put that massive grille on everything?
Yes.
And they're going to risk killing it. Or overdoing it.
Okay. Compact family. Now, this is interesting. This is the first Chinese car that's won any particular segment.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've driven one of these.
Okay.
Okay. I went for a test drive because I was curious. Our neighbor got one, and I liked it. I mean, and for price-wise, 420,000 Rand. Okay, it's pretty impressive what you get. But I was up against a couple of other cars.
Does it say no?
And I'm not quite sure how I won against them because, I mean, the build quality is not great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I will.
Does it rival Fiat's poor build quality? Cool.
It just, parts of it felt flimsy. Okay, so.
Not my favorite looking car. I haven't driven one yet. I mean, but.
It's an interesting design.
Yeah. It's okay price as well.
Yeah, the price is very good. Probably one of the reasons why it won. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, double cab. Okay, Ford Ranger.
Ford Ranger.
Okay, Mercedes, luxury Mercedes S-Class. Once again, like I said, it was the only car that was in this category.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, but then, I mean, yeah. So, did BMW enter anything?
No idea.
I wonder if they entered us, but we can go back and look at the media things.
That versus 7 Series would be interesting thing. Okay, Kia Sportage. Very, very nice car.
Yeah. I'm glad they moved away from that stupid honeycomb-looking egg box. They had this little. They used to have it in the previous one. I prefer the original, not the original Kia Sportage. It was like the second gen.
Yes,
I loved that design. I thought it was so nice. And then they moved to like the more boxier kind of almost Volvo-looking style. I didn't like that. This is nice.
Very nice one. Also been in one of these. No real.
Actually, come down in price because I remember the old one being 600 something.
Yeah, it's probably one of that's the starting price. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So they're going to carry for electric cars now.
New energy.
Yeah. Okay.
How many entrants were in this category?
To be honest, I think it was this and the Audi e-tron.
Okay, well, the Audi e-tron's like miles more expensive than the Volvo. Yeah. So obviously the Volvo would win.
Now performance is interesting. Audi RS3, but I have a feeling I'm not quite sure what other entries they had in that one.
But I mean, that's like the Audi RS3 is like, I mean, let's not beat around the bush. That's an M3. Yeah. Level kind of. Yeah. Those are phenomenal. Quattro, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, I just like. Why would you look anywhere else? I think those are just phenomenal pieces of engineering. I absolutely adore them.
Kia Sorento. Yeah, it's what do they call this? Premium. Yeah.
Premium Kia Sorento.
That's look. I mean, it's very nicely built.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the ones I've taken test driving. Look, I mean, the build quality is really good.
But but you see, like you mentioned about the Mercedes being the only one in its class. So the whole car of the year thing is not an accurate representation of the market for me. Again, so we're looking, it's 2.4 million. In 2016, I remember driving the BMW 750i. Yeah. Was 2.4 million back then. Yeah. So I wonder what's in here. Although the S-Class is just lots of chrome. They're going back to that, I see. Very old school kind of limousine kind of executive's car. But again, I think in terms of like competition, like how does it measure up to the 7 Series? Okay, the new 7 Series is awful looking, so I'd probably choose them over it anyway. But there are other brands that do it. So
I mean, I just got the A8. Granted, I'm not sure how many of them they've sold in this country.
You get, I mean, this is now competing almost in the Bentley kind of space.
Yeah, especially when you sort of saw the prices. I mean, the sort of Price-wise, I was just...
It's interesting, but again, so this is why I don't... Like, I think the Ford Ranger is a deserved winner of the car of the year. I think, especially in South Africa, I think it's the best-selling one, so obviously people like it. So it's probably a deserved winner. But I don't think the other categories are... thing. So the other link you've pulled up here...
I think that's just...
Is it the same thing?
Yeah.
The best cars. So it's the thing. What is it? The 21 finalists was this other article. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Eh?
Okay, so we wrap up there for today?
I think so. You're good.
Okay. Well, things taking Cartel. So we wrap up there for today. As always, if you enjoyed, like and subscribe, share.
Thanks for watching if you have.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We'll have another video out next week, hopefully.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Armin.
Do it.
We'll see everybody then.
Yeah.
Cheers. Okay. Okay.
I have no idea what that is. Our doorbell's going off.
Okay.
We need to do an end of year Put it right at the end. Like
Okay.